Hello, everyone. So this week we have Darius on, who is actually Jack's guest, but Jack has decided to not join us for the time being. We might get graced with his presence in the next 15 to 20 minutes. We might not. We shall see. We shall see. So how is everybody's week going?
Yeah, it has been fucking hectic, to be honest with you, man. Like, I'm really looking forward to it being over. What about you boys?
Yeah, I mean, mine's pretty chill, to be honest. I've just come back from uni. Time to absolute scran over the Christmas period, and then back
the
to
turbo bulk while mum is cooking.
Turbo bulk.
Yeah.
How's your week been, Luke?
It's just standard, to be honest, bro. Like I did the first draft and assignment over the weekend, and then absolutely buried training 4 days in a row because my split got a bit messed up last week. So deload is definitely in now. After like 9 weeks on this training block, I am feeling absolutely ruined. Darius has just made a face of, oh my God, because he knows how Matt programs. But it's been static volume for like the last 3 months, I think, because it was after 3 mesos of volume escalation. So it makes sense to run a static volume block there. And then I went into a mini cut because I kept throwing up my meals. Wow. So it made sense to then hold it that volume. But why has your week been hectic, bro?
A range of things, man. Like, obviously, like trying to manage training whilst being in this health phase, like after the contest and stuff. But then also, like, my sister is heavily pregnant and is like bare ill as well. So we're like rushing back and forth to the hospital and shit, trying to look after her. So yeah, it has been busy, but almost Christmas. So just gonna try again.
Right. Okay. And for everybody who doesn't already follow you, when was it that you competed?
Oh, so it was like 6 weeks ago on Sunday. So it was the PCA first timers in Hull. Which was, I can't believe it was 6 weeks ago, actually. It's mad.
It always goes well quick. I remember mine. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm like months after it now, like already.
Mate,
and how did the competition go?
Yeah, well, luckily won because honestly,
you did look insane though.
Oh, thanks, bro. The thing is, like, I hadn't prepared myself to not win. Like, I, when your friends or your family try to be like, look, even if you don't win, it's okay because you still did an amazing thing getting stage. I was like, I can't hear that. Like, I have to win. Like, so, I'm very grateful it happened because otherwise, don't know if we'd be speaking right now.
And we've actually got the same coach as well. So why did you decide to sort of go with Matt for your prep?
Man, so when I was following the Physique Collective guys, seeing the way that Matt speaks and his outlook on everything is so different and refreshing. I properly resonated with him because instead of just looking at it like you just have to train and shut up and like eat your meals and blah blah blah, he really like looks at your lifestyle outside of that and it's like, well, okay, let's take the pressure off. How can we improve across all these different areas to get like a even better result? And I was like, yeah, that's the person that I trust, like that. And also I think it's something like when you have a coach that's older than you as well, part of you kind of wants to like impress them or like do them proud as well. So that level of accountability was like even greater. I was like, right, I got, not only do I want to do this, but I want to do a good job for him. So
yeah, I completely get what you mean. That's sort of similar reason to why I chose to go with Matt as well. Like I've been watching the Mindset Mondays that he did on his for like literally over a year at this point. And I remember him saying, he was like, I don't know if those have ever gotten with people because he gets that feedback. And I responded to it. I was like, that's literally the reason why I started to trust you and then decided that he would be the right person to work with, if that makes sense. Because literally, like, up to half of my check-ins sometimes, depending on what's going on, is based on how to manage bodybuilding being around every sharp, eat your meals, go to the gym.
Yeah.
More of the average person as well. Like if you're at uni and you've got other stuff going on, like you're going to have more stressful times where, oh, Jack is joining. Right. We'll make him wait a minute. Make him wait a minute. We won't let him in straight away. I'm going to carry on with what I was saying. So yeah, if you're at uni and you've got other stressful things going on with assignments, like obviously training is going to have to take a little bit of a backseat.
Yeah.
If you're going through a bit of a stressful phase in your diet, then maybe you go up to maintenance during that phase. You can actually focus on your exams and your assignments and all of that good stuff, rather than trying to be hardcore. Because if it makes your life less stressful, it's gonna be beneficial long term. Right.
Yeah.
Let's let him in.
Right. There he is.
Oh, the boy.
What time do you call this?
I'm so sorry, boys. I've shit the bed today, honestly. I've had a mare of a day. Darius, I'm so sorry, bro.
Dude, it's all good, man. We've been talking about insulin, binging, everything.
That was before the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whoops.
Oh my days.
I'm so sorry, boy. Honestly, I've been traveling home from uni. I've been on the road for like 5 hours driving. I'm mentally elsewhere, bro.
That's really good, man.
What food were you thinking about while driving?
Every single service station, there's a Burger King, a Starbucks, a Costa. So I'm like all of it. Thing is, I went to Mackey's because my girlfriend has a hamster and I wanted to get the hamster a fruit bag, like a carrot bag. But we were traveling with the hamster, but also the Celebrations McFlurry did look peng, so I may have had that as well.
Yeah, I didn't even know they did that.
Oh, mate, banging.
Banging. We spoke about this before, haven't we? What's the best celebration?
Bounty.
Wait.
Oh. No.
Maltesers, surely.
Maltesers or Milky Way, in my opinion.
Milky Way?
Yes.
Darius, come in here. What's the best one?
The reason I was quiet is because I don't know what chocolates are in Equality Street.
Now, Celebrations.
No, Celebrations.
Oh, right. Fucking hell.
Not Equality Street. I don't know what the fuck's in that.
Oh, right. Celebrate. I don't know what's in the box, man. I don't eat chocolates, so I'm not sure.
Mad.
I do like
proper bodybuilder you are, mate.
Oh, look at this guy. Yeah.
The man doesn't even eat chocolate.
Yeah, I do like Bounties I like coconut, so probably that I would say. But
has anybody else noticed how Jack joins and the IQ of this podcast so fast?
Yes, sure.
So Jack, just to update you, we briefly mentioned Darius and I having the same coach, and then how we competed in his first bodybuilding show. Fantastic, man.
Yeah. How I mean, am I retreading ground by saying how do you feel about that show?
No,
not really. It's a weird one because obviously it being the first show and stuff, you build it up so much, and then to get the result that you're after as well, you kind of think okay, where do I go from here? And I think that surprised me because I thought after achieving this big thing, I'd be very content and just happy. But it ended up just feeling kind of lost and being like, God, now what? What do I do? What's the next thing? So that's gotten better. As the weeks have gone by, now I feel fine about it. It's like a distant memory, but at first it's proper weird to get your head around.
And how have you found sort of the whole post-show experience, training-wise, food-wise? I've heard a lot of people, including myself, massively struggle with the food side of things. I can only imagine, Jack, after you compete, you are going to go on a rampage, bro.
Going to be like priest back in the
He's
day.
going to be back to peak body weight 3 days later.
I'm scared. That's why I'm pushing it back.
Yeah, well, mate, one of the boys that I competed with, he gained 22 kilos in 2 weeks, I think, post show. Yeah, proper crazy. Someone else did 7 kilos in a day, which was mad.
Wild.
Yeah, so that was bad. Mate, sorry, my head's gone back. I forgot what the question was.
How have you found the whole post-show experience and managing your appetite and that stuff?
Oh, yeah. So the first few, the first food shop that I did after the show, I almost had a panic attack because it was like, I don't know what food to buy. I forgot how to shop because it's like you've been so used to eating the same stuff through prep all the time and constantly having like your berries and cream of rice and Greek yogurt, all this stuff. And then to know that I could pick anything that I wanted, I was like, this is too overwhelming. Like, I don't know what to actually get. So that was hard. And like in the evening times as well, I found myself like really binging on like sweet stuff or like really craving like anything sweet. But that could have been due to like the health issues and stuff that I was having also, which I'm not sure how much of a role it played, but either way, like luckily within 4 or 5 weeks, that's all gone. The appetite signaling has gone back to normal. Like my appetite's, if anything, low. And with training, nothing has been rigid. It's been very much go and have fun. Like if you feel like training, train. Like 2-3 reps in reserve, but just go get a pump. Nothing's been strict. So that's been okay. It's been nice to enjoy training again because obviously, you know, like the last few weeks of prep, like you're just trying to get through it. So it's not exactly that enjoyable. But yeah, it's definitely
you're just trying to maintain your lifts and then you're getting beaten back with like, no, you've lost another rep this week. Well done. Well,
yeah.
Not fun.
Mate, you're sleeping like I was getting hardly any sleep at all. I was up at like 3:30 most mornings, and yeah, you're just like a zombie. You just can't function at all, like outside of it.
That's something I forgot about actually, like the lack of sleep. I'd literally wake up like 5 times a night to go to the toilet. It's ridiculous. You're like, can I please just stay asleep, please?
Yeah.
And then you wake up so early, you go and do your cardio, whatever, and then it gets to 5 o'clock, and you're like, yep, zombie mode, sick.
Yeah, honestly, like you got a couple of hours, and then you're dead to the world. So that's the power of modafinil, though. That will help occasionally.
Hey.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about how, like, after sort of 5-6 weeks post-show, the appetite signaling got better. Is there anything else you did sort of aside from just picking time to help with that?
I think a large part of it was actually taught by Matt, which was to really slow down and be more mindful about what I'm actually doing when I'm eating. Because if you think most of the time when you make a meal, you might be like sat watching TV or like Netflix or something, and you're eating without even really paying attention to what you're doing, and you can put down a ton of food. Like you think when people watch a movie, they buy snacks and stuff and they just mindlessly go for it. He was like, stop all of that, sit down with no distractions and just look at your food and take the time to actually enjoy it. Like have a bite, put your knife and fork down in between and stuff like that, and really just be present and trying to like practice that. And when I think I'm hungry, asking myself, am I actually hungry or am I craving something? Just trying to be more aware. And then also, like, if you did like fuck up, not like punishing yourself for it and being like, look, it's my first time doing this. I'm not going to be perfect. I just have to do my best. So that sort of like really softened the blow and like helps with the guilt. And that over time, you just end up, the food loses appeal. So yeah.
Have you, coming out of competition, what has your relationship been with like food and training overall? Like, has that taken its toll mentally as well? Or has there been much?
Yeah, you know, like to be completely honest, the last few weeks of prep, I was really worried that I'd like developed or was developing an eating disorder because everything had to be so exact. Like you're weighing out your salt, even, you know, like you're trying to be so on point with everything and you don't want to waver at all. And if you like, you know, then having to drive 3.5 hours up to Hull to be able to like stay in an Airbnb and get ready for the show, it's like any little deviation from your plan just stresses you out. So I think my relationship with food did get a bit messed up because I don't know about you guys, but when you're dieting and stuff, I was watching like cooking shows and like every recipe on YouTube and eating challenges and like 20K eating challenge, all of this stuff. And you just become obsessed with food. And it's definitely made me like realize how powerful like this stuff can be and like how you have to be careful and like have knowledgeable people around you, because if you were to try and do this yourself, I really think you could like mess yourself up. So yeah.
Oh mate, absolutely. Like I had a coach for my first show, and if I didn't have a coach, I would have fucked it royally. And even then, there are so many things which I could have improved on for next time. Like even just actually doing a proper off season before, which is definitely something we can speak about because you're sort of going into yours soonish. But I don't know if I've told this story before on the podcast, or I've definitely mentioned it a little bit. But I would have my last meal, which was like Greek yogurt, berries, and I'd put it in the freezer like 45 minutes before, so it's nice and solid. And then I'd have, it was like the Walden's Farm syrup or something like that, the sugar-free one. Yeah. And literally in those last couple of weeks, I'd have that on the meal, and then I'd just do like shots of it out of the cap because it just tasted so sweet. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then I remember I had it like a couple of weeks post-show. I'm like, this shit is fucking disgusting.
It's disgusting, like, isn't it? Yeah.
Your taste buds when you're dieting are not the same. Like I'll have stuff. I would have stuff before, and I'm like, yeah, this is incredible. I'm gonna eat this all the time. And then you get a couple of weeks into a massing phase, and you're like, this shit fucking sucks. Like, why am I eating this?
Honestly, I remember like making whey into a paste and then spreading it over like 7 or 8 rice cakes, and then like putting raspberries and stuff on it, and then sprinkling sweetener on it and stuff, and thinking, oh, this is amazing. I tried to eat it like a week ago and I thought it was gonna be sick. I had to throw it away. Didn't even eat one. It's so weird how it messes with you.
It is proper odd. So going on to sort of the off-season discussion then. So what are you currently doing at the moment?
So at the moment, I'm in like a health phase. So post-show, it's literally just recovering mentally, physically, hormonally, getting everything back in check to where it needs to be. So I'm in a good spot to actually push up, because I've never actually committed and done a proper off-season before. Everything has always just sort of been gradual, because I was always very like conscious of gaining too much body fat, and I let that hold me back. So I'm excited to go into one for the first time. So me and Matt were speaking, we're thinking mid-January we should be kicking off. So I think as long as I can embrace a bit of fat gain, hopefully it'll be really successful.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. Like I've gained, not all of it with Matt, but I gained 23 kilos post-show. Like as in not ended up morbidly obese, although BMI I was obese, which is a win in itself.
I love that. Yeah, it's a win.
But yeah, it's always my appetite that tends to limit me.
Oh God, mate! Like,
whereas Jack's like always starving, which I always find so interesting.
I genuinely need my hunger hormones investigated. Like, I'm resonating a lot with like what Darius said though about being more present and kind of. I think for me, like the biggest thing that's helped me recently is like de-glorifying food. Like it's such a fleeting sensation. And when you're dieting, because it's like you can do anything else in your life, anything. The one thing that you can't do is eat more calories than you've been allotted, basically. And like that kind of restriction on yourself makes it kind of like really glorified, where you're like, oh, all this food that I can't eat. Yeah. And like, I think for me recently, just like, I'm still like very hungry, but I'm kind of trying to embrace it more and not glorify food as much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
How many Yorkshire puddings are you going to have on Christmas Day?
Exactly 0.9, not even one, bro.
Why?
No,
that's so good.
No, I'm going to be, Christmas Day is going to be pretty AMRAP, eating to failure kind of thing.
Yeah. One Christmas I ate 7,000 calories.
No.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, but it was literally just for the sake of it. Like I was just eating shit that I didn't even want to eat. I was just like, I wonder how much food I could. It's fucking so stupid. Mate, because like literally throughout the entire year, I was like, oh, I can't gain any body fat eating like fucking 2,000 calories, and no wonder I still look the same. Like,
honestly, like, cause that's the thing. When I was carbing up, I had like 950 grams of carbs in one day, and I was like still hungry, and I was like, this is amazing. If I can keep this appetite in the off season, I'm gonna get massive. And then come post show, it's like I'm on 3,000 calories, and I'm like, oh, this is tough. it's ridiculous.
That is mad.
That is abysmal. If we could have Jack's appetite, we'd be huge.
Oh, mate, yeah. So
genuinely, for me, like around 4K is when I start feeling like, okay, I'm kind of comfortable with my food. Like I get a little bit of like, I don't know how to put it, like a little bit of like hunger anxiety that I'm like, oh, if I don't eat this next meal at this time, I'm gonna be really hungry. And like,
I get that.
I'm trying to be less scared of being hungry.
Yeah.
But I'd say like around 4K is when I start to go like, okay, you know what, I'm like happy. Like if I was at 4,000 calories and I checked in with Liam and he said no food increase, I'd be like, yeah, calm, fine with me, that's chill.
Do you want to know my scale? So
yeah,
like 2,000, I get hungry. All the way up to 3,000, I'm sound. And then I get to 3.5 and the acid reflux kicks in. And then I get to 4,000, I just start throwing up. It's great.
You are, to be fair, you are a littler person.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, stomach size is going to like play into it. Like you look at like Nath Styles, his like full day of eating, he's like 6K calories and he's like, I'm starving.
So what, Luke, how tall are you and how much do you weigh?
Like 5'3", 5'4", and then I'm just over 70 kilo now.
Right, okay, fuck.
My heaviest was 78, like weeks ago.
That's heavy.
That's ridiculous. That's so sick.
I felt so horrible.
Like, all things considering, though, condition and stuff like that is pretty fucking decent.
Yeah, that is mad.
Has to be done, boys. Has to be done.
Yeah.
You're right, man.
That's gonna sort of lead me on to how I've dealt with pushing up that much weight, I suppose. But you mentioned that if you didn't win, you think things would have been quite different for you. Why do you think that is?
I think because I entered the competition kind of on a whim. Like it wasn't planned. I hadn't had an off season before. I hadn't really been doing anything particularly special in my training. It was just something that I thought, if I don't do this now, when am I ever going to do it? Am I always going to make an excuse of it's not the right time, blah, 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 I'm not big enough, whatever. So I just committed. And then because how much I changed like as a person during prep, I really liked who I became. I was so productive. I was like, felt more sure of myself because I'm doing all these things that like make me feel proud and all of that. And then obviously you're getting like compliments from people about how much you're improving and all this potential you got, blah, blah, blah. I think I built up in my head that I thought I could like really be something. And I had it, I guess subconsciously I thought, and if I don't win, that's basically saying I was wrong the whole time. So that's why I like couldn't mentally prepare for coming second or third or not placing at all, which isn't the healthiest way to go into it. But at the same time, because I didn't have a plan B, that's what drove me so much in prep to just nail everything. I was like, I will suffer more than anybody else stepping on that stage. I do not care. Like they don't want it as bad as me. And you kind of like feed off of that, like when you talk to yourself like that and it pushes you on. So when I was starting to feel like really hungry, I was like on 1,300 calories on rest days. I'd be like, yeah, this is good. Like I want it to hurt more. Do you know what I mean? So yeah,
because I had the very opposite experience in terms of I came fourth out of 4 guys and then I came fifth out of like 7 or something like that. So I know a lot of people sort of feel lost post-show and they're like, don't know what's going on. Whereas I was like, right, I've just been absolutely spanked on stage. Like, what am I going to do about this? And I think that gave me a little bit more of that dedication in terms of post-show of I'm not going to fucking push the boat out and eat off plan for days and days on end. Like,
it makes a lot of sense.
That's gonna fuck the entire off season.
That makes a lot of sense because I guess if you weren't to win, you know what you have to do, which is take on feedback and work to improve it. Whereas if you do win, it's kind of more open-ended because it's like up to you where you go with it. And I don't think I was ready for that or ever considered it. So yeah, that's what threw me.
Oh yeah, if I don't win next time, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. I'll be fuming, bro, because I'm going to have spent like 3-4 years in off season, So if I don't present something that's half fucking decent, I'm going to be so pissed off.
It's all politics. You deserve to win. It's politics.
Be the judge.
Actually, what was everybody's opinions on how the Olympia came out?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Obviously, CBum is the most dominant motherfucker on the planet. Like that title is his until he doesn't want it anymore.
Yeah.
It was when you were looking at him from the front, it was like, okay, fairly comparable. They start to turn to the side and you're like, okay. And then he does that back double and you're like, yeah, no chance.
Yeah.
No chance.
His height, though, I think is such an advantage because the weight that he's allowed to carry on stage compared to other guys, plus obviously his structure and his insertions, it's so hard to beat that. He literally got the most desirable physique on the planet. Like,
it blows my mind when people say his physique is attainable. I'm like, what?
We were talking about that.
What? I've never.
People are like, I like classic. I like CBum because their physique's more attainable than the open guys. I'm like, this is one of the most genetically gifted humans on the planet.
So naive.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
I think that's the biggest insult to a bodybuilder is saying that you're more attainable. Attainable for looking physique, bro. Like, can you imagine? I'd be heartbroken.
I'd be fuming, yeah.
You
don't get the by accident.
Yeah.
Man, sorry, I think mine's lagging a little bit. I think I was cut you guys off.
No, it's all good, bro. My Wi-Fi is a little bit horrific. And then what about the open?
Hardy's conditioning was very good, like it always is. It's very grainy and dry. Structurally, though, I don't know if they're going in like a different direction with what they're looking for from Mr. Olympia now, because I don't know. I thought like they're wasting quite thick, which obviously to a certain point, but I was really surprised. Like someone like Samson, I thought should have placed far higher than sixth. I thought his sort of frame looks to me what a Mr. Olympia would look like round and bubbly and full and all that type of stuff. And I was surprised how much Ramy dropped, but I think it kind of makes sense with like there's some conspiracies going around as to I don't know if you guys like heard why they thought he might have placed so low.
No, I didn't hear any conspiracies.
So though apparently, Jim Mannion, who is like the CEO of the whole Olympia and stuff like that, there was this big like expo that they were going to do, and Ramy was supposed to guest pose along.
Yeah.
I have heard about this.
Yeah, and so he didn't turn up for it. Didn't say he wasn't coming. Didn't do anything, and then I think like a week or two later did like a little apology video. And some people were saying they thought it was almost like a punishment that he didn't get moved in or compared to other people and this, that, the other. But I don't know how true that is.
Not overlooked though. Like as you were saying, I personally think that Samson looked better than him, but I can also understand that you've got two previous Mr. Olympias there, and putting a guy like even what happened with Nick last year, his first Olympia, he comes fifth. Like that's pretty unheard of.
Yeah.
So coming top six for Samson is fucking crazy, and in the next couple of years, I see him moving up.
100%.
And I mean, Derek's open debut comes second, banging.
Ridiculous.
And I really hope that's the direction they're going in terms of just shape a little bit more, because it does look so much better in my opinion.
100%, so much more pleasing to like look at. But yeah,
it may just be me, but Ramy's look this year seems very off. I don't know if he to me it just seemed like he was bloated and he overspilled massively, in my opinion.
Yeah, they noticed that you can see what they're assuming is just like poor shots, but his glutes had these really like hard lumps in them. And Dennis James, who's like a good friend of his, said that he doesn't know what happened, but he thinks something happened in the last week leading up to the show with Ramy, whether it was a illness or an injury or something that caused it. But he wasn't as sharp as he should have been. It's just big.
Yeah, those shots of him 1 week out look so much better than the package he brought to stage.
Yeah.
Still, he's got like those lumps in his glutes, and he's got like gaps in his quads where I think had some scar tissue removed from bad shots, or just build up of scar tissue from shots.
Jesus.
you could see like in his quads, like if you look at pictures,
It looks like a dent. Yeah.
yeah, literally like
Yeah.
someone punched his bloody quad.
Yeah.
Got an ice cream scoop.
Just taking a bit.
This is completely off topic, but I know. Do you guys know who Dr. Scott is?
Yeah,
Stevenson.
Scott Mendelsohn.
Yeah, Stevenson.
yeah.
Oh,
So
Stevenson.
might have the term wrong here, but I'm pretty sure he did a biopsy of his quad. So he literally took some of it out to see what the fiber composition of it was. But that's fucking mad.
That is wild.
That's commitment.
Yeah,
The grind, mate.
it's just, I love Dr. Scott. I don't think he gets the recognition he deserves.
Yeah,
No,
Luke,
not
how
at all.
optimal are you, bro? Are you willing to biopsy yourself for your clients?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Take my brain, take my skull.
anything you want.
Yeah. To be fair, what are your sort of like overarching goals when it comes to bodybuilding? Would you like to progress and eventually turn pro, or do you see that happening?
Yeah, so literally this past week, I've been thinking about it a lot, like what do I actually want to do moving forwards with bodybuilding after this? And I spoke with like my family and my partner a lot about it, and was, thinking about work and everything in the future. And I spoke to Matt as well, and I said, like, I'm ready to, like, whatever risks are involved, I'm willing to do what it takes to try and turn pro. So he thinks I've got the potential to do it as well, which is obviously like really reassuring to hear. And now I'm just so excited for the future. But yeah, before literally like 3 days ago, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure whether I was going to or not, because you know how much of an investment and commitment it is. And as you get older, like, you start to think, is it going to take away from time with people or experiences and stuff like that? And trying to weigh up whether, you can make a career out of it, because nothing's guaranteed,
Yeah, man. I think your structure and shape for classic is just superb, man. Honestly,
Oh, mate.
unreal.
No, I appreciate it. The good news is, right, so like when I was on stage, I was 78 kilos, and for the IFBB, I think for my height, the maximum I could be on stage is 91. So that's a lot of lean tissue that I could gain to try and be competitive. So hopefully, hopefully you can get there.
How
I
tall
know
are you?
it changes when you turn pro as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I'm 5'9".
I don't understand at all.
I think I'm 5'9" or just under.
5'9". That's the same as me. Is 200 pounds, like 91 kilo, really the limit for classic at our height?
At the IFBB, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's
it is.
mad.
Yeah,
Damn.
I went on the IFBB, like the rules and like criteria and stuff, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was, like 201. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I've never been really above 84. So like 84.
What are you now?
84. Like,
Hey.
Oh, you'll have hit 100 by the end of the season for sure, mate.
The thing is, like, I started prep at 84, went down to like, I think 74 at one point, and then competed at 78. But I'm back up at 84, and I'm leaner than I was when I started prep, so I can't complain. Like, obviously had like a lot of recomp during that time.
Yeah, that's always a good indication. I've just had a ridiculous realization while we were going through that conversation. So I competed at 55, and then my heaviest was 78. So I gained like 23 kilos. So I gained, what was it, like 40-something% of my body weight? Is that right? Is that right? I think that's right, isn't it? Can I manage?
Yeah, no, yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, that's a little bit crazy, isn't it?
Fucking hell, man.
That's,
calm down.
Yeah,
but
your
appetite shot.
I hit 76, then came back down, then hit 78 and came back down. So hopefully I can reach 80 this time.
Yeah.
I hope so. I just need an appetite. Jack, give me your appetite. I'll swap you.
Yeah,
I would happily trade some.
Darius, I'm assuming your appetite is... Oh, wait, no, you said your appetite was low.
Yeah, that's the thing. It has gotten low, which is kind of nice to experience because for so long it has been high. Like, in throughout prep and going on holiday as well, like with family and friends, like eating pizzas and stuff around you in prep, and that seeing all this stuff that you can't have, like it was tough. So to now not be so food focused is actually relieving.
I think that's kind of the biggest thing that's like driven my food focus is I've never had a gaining phase where I've seriously pushed appetite. So my appetite has either been fine or I'm hungry. And recently it's been like I've still spent most of my time in the gym dieting down than I have like putting weight on. Like I'm still heavier, but like I've spent more time in diets, which I think is just like I just need a longer period of gain, which is hard to do when you keep like binging as well. So that just shuts it down.
That's the thing, like, because of obviously the more often that you binge, the more destructive it's going to be able to have a long productive off season.
Exactly.
So it's like you either have to get lean and start from there, or just be so like regimented with your food that you don't binge and you can gradually push the food up so you can continue to make progress, because otherwise you just yo-yo for ages and it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Have you found your binges have sort of reduced over time?
They stopped within, I'd say, three weeks post show. Like the first 2 weeks were definitely the worst. But the thing is, like, when I got my blood results back, I saw that I had hypothyroidism, which would increase your appetite anyway. So alongside, being post show and the freedom of food, also had a thyroid issue that was making me even hungrier. So the binges, I would say they were probably like more so in the evening time. And like I could kind of get through the day without like having too many bits here and there. But after, I'd say 3 weeks or so, just they stopped. Just had like larger meals of lower calorie foods, and then that really helped, like up in the veg intake and all that sort of stuff.
What about you, Jack?
So I binged. I had a proper bad binge. God, when was that? A couple months ago. And like that was, it was tough for me mentally, because my instinct was, okay, now I'm X many pounds up. I've forgotten it now. But I was like, I've gained, I don't know, 5 pounds or whatever, 10 pounds, whatever it was in a week. I should have gained like 1. So I'm now perpetually this entire push up, like 4 pounds, whatever it was, ahead of schedule. And so my instinct was like, why are you having that food, mate? You don't deserve it. Like, we need to hold weight here for at least a couple of weeks, so that then timeline wise, this is where you should be if you were regimented. But I kind of, that's counterproductive, because then if you binge and then restrict, it just makes you want to binge more. And like I spoke to Darius about it, and I've spoken to Liam about it as well. And like, if you make it a taboo, if you make it something where it's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, it becomes more appealing to that rebellious side of you. Like, Darius, that's what you were like talking to me about. That really resonated with me.
Yeah.
Like, because yeah, like, and then for me, like, speaking to Ryan, we had Ryan on the podcast, and he was like, oh, with off-plan meals, I just tell people, have one whenever, replace your biggest meal. It's no worries. If you're having too many, then you can just always taper it down. And I kind of told myself, okay, let's do that. And I ended up, just by telling myself, you can off-plan meal whenever, instead of once a week, twice a week, this arbitrary amount. Just telling myself, you can off-plan whenever, you're in control of your food, made me more relaxed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'd sit there on Deliveroo, and then instead of being like, now's my chance, I'll be like, do I really want this? I'm not really. I could have it tomorrow if I care. And like, allowing myself that, like when I came home today, like I ate McFlurry today, I ate at Spoons with my girlfriend today, and I ate a little ice cream when I got back, and I'm not stressed about it. Like, I'll probably eat meal plan for the rest of the night unless like I want to swap anything out. But
you've got like, calories left.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. But yeah, like kind of give myself a bit more like flexibility, and just like I think reminding myself at the end of the day, this is something I'm doing, like I'm in control. Like the meal plan isn't a rule. I can go off and eat whatever, and like, you know, I like, this is something that I'm putting myself through. That's what's really helped me. As dumb as it sounds.
No, I think whenever you're putting more pressure on yourself about this and trying to be a bodybuilder, the more guilt that you build up when you slightly deviate, because you're like, I'm supposed to be this person, I'm supposed to be this way. And as soon as you do something against that, you then question who you are. You have all this guilt, and it just makes the food so much more taboo. So when you take the pressure off and realize, like, look, okay, this is how I feel right now. I'm not perfect. I'm just doing the best that I can. Let me not take the piss with it. I'm not stepping on stage anytime soon. If I really want it, okay, fine. But if not, I can always go another day. Do you know what I mean? And giving yourself that perspective or breathing space. Because when you think about it, it's like 10 seconds of pleasure on your tongue, like worth the guilt afterwards. If you can try and like stop in the moment and think about that, it's easier to sort of pull yourself away from it.
Mm.
I think this idea of being someone who sticks to the plan, and no matter how boring the food is, it's kind of almost become, well, it has become desirable and almost in a way fetishized. Like people want to sort of be this robot to attain those goals, but that's not actual living. Like you need to incorporate some type of living or just lifestyle element into your program just to be fucking happy. Like you can't expect to just be on the grind 100% of the time. And as much as like Andrew Tate or anyone may say this bullshit, if you choose to listen to those people, I think a very important part that gets overlooked is your own well-being.
Mate, 100% right. Because the thing is, I think the reason why that seems like it's being idolized is because people assume it's to do with your mental toughness. Like, oh, you must be a stronger character because you live your lifestyle that way. But does it really matter how you get to the end result if one person's happy and they've had some flexibility, or the other person's been suffering and stressed and whatever to get to the same place? I would far rather be happy and relaxed and have a few meals here and there, because I don't think it says anything about your mental toughness. I think it says more about your intelligence.
I think like I was talking to Liam about this, and I was like, at the end of the day, man, me going like slightly over on an off-plan meal, or me choosing to eat out one of my meals out of the 5 I have a day, isn't the reason that my physique isn't where I want it to be. Or like with drinking alcohol, like there's something that I've relaxed more about. Like me banking calories to go on one night out a week, or like 2 nights out a week, and then pushing my session back a day if I need to, isn't the reason that like certain body parts aren't growing. You know, like you get into this mindset of like the 1% to 2%. You know, like people start worrying about like the really small stuff, and like at the end of the day, this is a journey that like all of us are at the start of. Even though Darius is the furthest along, we're all like at the start of this, and it needs to be sustainable long term. And like when I'm 50, whether I had like 44-inch or 45-inch arms, because that's how big I'll get, whether I had 44-inch or 45-inch, like, I'm not going to care, you know, like as long as I enjoyed myself and like I've got like shit to say for, like, I had a family, I made memories, you know, like being present, all that shit. I'm rambling on now.
No, it's fine, man. Go on, Luke. I thought you were going to say
that being present is something that I need to be a lot better about. Like Christmas Day, I'm going to do my very best to turn this off.
Oh, trust, same, bro.
Because like I'm always find something to do in it, and I'm like, why can I not just have a conversation with people?
It's hard when you're an online coach though, because like I get a little bit of like not shit, but I guess like reminders from the people around me that they're like, you can clock off now, it's okay. Like I'll be sat in my living room and like my housemates, and we're like having a laugh, and then like someone will send me a message on WhatsApp, or someone will like, you know, check
That's incredible.
And then immediately I'm like, bang, I'm on it. I've got 2 clients over in the States. And so if they send me a message at like midnight being like, oh, I'm not a fan of Smith Machine close grip press, can we try something else? Immediately I'm like, have we tried JM? Have we tried dips? Have we tried this? And like, I feel guilty. I'm getting better at it, but I feel guilty when like I've got people paying me for a service if I'm like, well, I'm already here. I'm already like, I could either be sat on my ass relaxing or like responding to them. I find it so hard to be like, sometimes you should just switch off and relax, like it's not urgent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I have the like bedtime thingy set, and that definitely helps because I don't see the notifications come through, but then I will still go on my phone to do stuff, and then I get stuck in that rabbit hole sometimes. So I think I'm going to try and do like just a week off between like Christmas and New Year, just to
100%.
actually not live on my phone.
You know, I know this might be like a scary thing to do as like online coaches as well, but something that makes it a lot easier to keep off of your phone and without worrying about what's going to happen to your followers or anything like this is to just deactivate it for a week, because then when you go back to it, it's going to be in the exact same place. You've just taken yourself off the grid for a bit, and it might be that you just need, even if it's for like 2 days, maybe that's all you need to just actually reset. Because the thing is, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to constantly be visible, be sharing information, all this sort of stuff. But everyone is going to be okay. The world keeps on going around. Like if we had someone in contest prep, okay, it'd be different. But realistically, most things can wait. So just try and give yourself, just try and have that in the back of your mind that like, is this really urgent? Is replying to this thing going to take away from like me respecting myself and giving myself the time I need to actually wind down and relax as well? It doesn't mean you're a bad coach. You just have to have your own boundaries as well.
Yeah, for real. I think that's a tough one, especially like, you know, online coach, self-employed. But I think, you know, something that probably we all need to work on in some way is like just balance. You know, like when you're passionate about something, it's hard to not want it to overtake your life, because it can, and you can kind of enjoy it, but it's important like long term to have good balance.
Yeah, it's definitely impacted the relationships I have with the people around me, because I'm very sort of direct in the sense of like, if somebody says to me, can you come off your phone, we're trying to do this, then I'll do it. But in my brain, it's not an issue unless somebody says. Whereas like people don't work like that. Like they get annoyed about things and they think, oh no, I'm going to upset them if I say X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that I need to get better at, and something that I do want to get better at. Like even to the extent of I don't have the phone on the table when I'm eating anymore, because I'll just go on my phone and then like half an hour's passed and I haven't actually eaten my food. And that's what takes us back to the discussion we were having earlier about like actually just sitting and enjoying a meal. Like I can't tell you the last meal I had that I just sat and ate without watching YouTube, because I do it for every single meal.
Same.
Thing is, like, it's tough because in a way, when you're bulking, that might be easier to get the food down because you're distracted, you're not thinking about it. Because if you are being mindful, you're going to feel every single mouthful. Do you know what I mean? So you're likely to feel fuller quicker. But yeah, that's the thing. If you know in yourself that this is taken away from you, or it's making you feel some sort of way, then I think that's a sign that something needs to be changed. You wouldn't feel that way for no reason.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Do we have any closing questions? How long have we been on the pod? I'm aware of our, you know, we don't want to take things too crazy with time, even though it's always hard when we have a guest to off. I'm not going to lie.
50 minutes or something like that. Obviously, you've been on a little bit shorter, Jack.
I know, but did you guys go from the usual time?
Yeah, I think we've been on about 50 minutes.
Okay, I reckon we still got some time then. Yeah. Right. Do we have any final questions? Because if not, I'll quick fire some that I've got for Darius.
I can't think of any. Go for a rapid fire round.
All right. So obviously, I don't know if we talked about this, but Darius is, I need to get the exact word right. Darius is a big into his psychology. Is it psychology?
Yeah.
And so you were you a psychologist at some point? I'm kind of muddling my words now.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so I started off, like, after doing my degrees, I worked in a psychiatric ward, then worked as a therapist. So yeah, psychology, psychiatry, all that sort of thing was like a big part of my life, and the mindset thing going into, bodybuilding was really helpful. Now I'm working in like pharmaceuticals and medical writing, so it's more like research, drug development, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, like, what drew you to like psychology, and do you think that kind of has played into bodybuilding in any way?
Yeah, I'm trying to think how to describe it in the quickest way possible. So like, I think growing up, I was always very aware of like people's problems around me, but also aware that I was unable to help because I didn't have any sort of like knowledge to be able to like help them with stuff. So I was really interested in learning about the mind, how it works, how people can like help themselves basically, through whether it's CBT or through any sort of like self-development type stuff. That sort of led me to go into psychology, learn about the mind, and then found that really interesting. And it helps massively in bodybuilding because I can take a different perspective of myself, and I can notice certain behaviors when I think that might be a problem, that might be okay. Like you can see the world in a different way. You can communicate with people better, like especially in prep and stuff, because you understand how to speak to people in a way that's not going to make them feel triggered. So yeah, I'm really grateful that I've got that sort of background in this.
Understandable, man. Well, sounds like sounds like a useful tool. I'm a bit can't lie. And are you still offering coaching services as well?
I am, but I'm being a lot more selective with who I'm taking on. I have been for the past few months, because I think moving forwards, whether you guys experience this or not, and it's not everybody's fault. Some people get into it thinking it's for them, and they end up realizing that they're not ready to be coached. I'm only really looking to take on people that are serious about transforming themselves now. So yes, spaces are available, but I'm being selective.
Yeah, you I feel like you really have to be. You always like I don't know about you guys, but when I kind of bring people on board, I always say to people, like, this isn't just me selling you on a service or a product. This is a kind of two-way service. This is you saying coaching is right for me, and me saying this coaching is right for you. Like it has
100%, yeah.
It has to go both ways, because if you don't start off on like, both wanting to make that progress together, it's like you said, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, I completely get what you mean. I did a post about this a little while ago, but like it's still sort of 51% their responsibility, no matter how much we're guiding them and putting them in X direction or Y direction. Yeah. If they don't do the thing, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not like you pay X and this will happen. You still have to do the things recommended along the way.
Yeah. Like I like the two things I always ask from clients is like, give it a go and tell me what happens. Like if it doesn't work, you don't like it, just tell me. If it works, you like it, tell me. Like you don't just sit there and suffer in silence. But you have to like be willing to at least give it a go. If I'm going to say, okay, we're going to pull a couple calories and you're not willing to budge, then like at least let me know before just like disregarding it,
Yeah, because if you don't know, you can't change it. So
yeah,
nothing
exactly.
we can really do then. Yeah. Oh, John's dying.
Slowly dying over there.
I was going to ask Darius, so how does like your work as a therapist, or your interest in psychology, it's more than interest because you did it at uni. Interest is kind of downplaying it massively.
No,
but how that like played into your coaching, do you think?
Yeah, so a lot of the experience that I have from psychology, I primarily use around check-ins or like with feedback with people, because a lot of the problems people bring to you is often around the way they're thinking about stuff. And if you can think of a way to tackle it and get the person to almost come to the decision without making them feel like they're being forced to do it, they're more likely to actually stick to it. So I think it's asking people the right questions, getting them to come to the same conclusion as you themselves. That's how you really like solidify a change in someone's minds.
Wow, I like that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think. I think a lot of coaches out there is they're too in like general population are a bit too authoritative, dictatory.
Yeah, it's got to be a two-way thing, because if you might have all the knowledge and tell someone to do it, but if you can get someone to realize that actually I need to do this and they're saying it also, they'll be so much more invested because it feels like their idea.
Yeah, like I reminding people their why is like something that I'll do. Like if I've got clients who like they're kind of struggling to, Luke, I just saw that you put me on your story. Yeah, did you just take a picture?
Yeah, that's what the photo was for.
Yeah, like if you've got like a client where they're struggling to adhere, you've made things as easy as possible, of course, and like tried to air out any issues that they're having. But if they're just generally struggling to adhere, getting on a call with them and just talking about, like, okay, why did you approach me? Like, what are we here to do? How does that, like, what has driven you to do this? Like, oh yeah, I want to look better. Like, but why do you want to look better? Everyone wants to look better. You're someone who's actually putting money into looking better. What has driven that? Why do you care more than Gen Pop? Because you ask an average person on the street, do you want to look better? They'll be like, yeah, sure.
Are you willing to do something about it is a different question.
Yeah.
And sort of when we look at the practices, so to speak, as coaches, like we can say like, yeah, this is probably going to be one of your best options. But if it doesn't work for the person, it doesn't fucking matter, because it needs to work for them. And unfortunately, that is where a lot of the work comes in, is fine tuning and finding the best approach for the person.
Yeah. You can have two people with like similar goals, training similarly, maybe they eat similarly, but everything else can be completely different just because it doesn't work for them mentally. They're two separate people.
Yeah 100%.
Anything to add, John?
No, I entirely agree. Like I've come across people who have sought after coaching from me, but then there's a complete lack of effort on their behalf, and eventually I do get to a point where I've told them to just stop I'm not going to coach you anymore, because how is the relationship beneficial on either side? What's the point if someone approaches you and wants to change their physique but they're not willing to put any effort? Why waste your own time and your own money and waste my time? What's the point?
If you've tried everything and they completely bin you off, I just cancel their payment, and I'm like, you're okay, we can restart this, but I'm not going to take your money if you're not going to accept the service, because I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to like get paid ass,
No.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right, guys. Well, it was lovely speaking with you.
He's bored of us now. He's bored of us.
I really enjoy this. It just thing is, I'm not in my house at the moment, and I've received a text.
Bro, it's all good. I'm joking.
He's too polite.
He's like, I've actually stolen this chair just for the podcast.
You push someone over, they're out cold and they're starting to wake up. So
I've kicked them under the bed, but they are arising. So
right. Well, thank you very much for your time. Good to speak to you properly. And I'm sure we will chat in the future. I'm just going to end the recording now.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was really nice talking with all you boys. Like, I had a lot of fun. So, that's
thank you very much for coming on after that lovely ending from John. Cheers. See you later, guys.